Well, howdy, partner.
Howdy, y'all.
Y'all, we're talking like Texans here because I don't think they're from Texas. I have no idea. But we are down here in Pototan where an American expat and his Filipino wife have started a very successful business in only the last 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a series of videos that's going to come from this area because Pototan is a gem and we want to share it all with you.
And we love it here.
Yes, we do. We love the people here. We love everything about it. And you're going to see that over the next few videos. Everything you want to know about an area, like what things cost, what are the cool things to do, everything are going to come from this series. So make sure you are subscribed. We're going to go now and go say hello to them. We haven't met them yet. This is just a quick intro.
Yeah. You can see that there's fish ponds.
Woohoo!
And we went through some rice fields and they're planting rice right now and I'm so quick. I want to become a rice farmer.
And to give you an idea, like the guys, they were like wading in thick mud.
Right up here, like easy, just full mud. And I'm
full
like,
on.
put me in there.
And
right
she's
now.
like, put me in.
I'm ready to go. I'm like a carabao, okay?
I'm like
cool.
a carabao. Wow. How many girls go around admitting I'm a cow?
Hey, carabaos are expensive, okay? They pay for tuition, like that's money. And they don't do, well, some of them do a lot, but.
I can't believe how expansive this is. In only 2 to 3 years, ready to pull this off. Wow. Unbelievable.
You guys came on a very hot day.
Welcome to the Philippines, right?
Yeah, welcome to the Philippines.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Mark Johnson.
Mark Johnson, nice to meet you, Michael. And here's Bianca.
Bianca.
Hi,
Nice
Bianca.
to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I can't believe you built this in such a short period of time.
This is cool.
Like, do you sleep or?
Not really.
No, I guess not. I guess not.
Yeah.
There's a
Wow.
this farm. I did it over COVID. And it took me about two years. So no, I don't sleep because the model here is intensive. So our tilapia are intensive and our shrimp are intensive. And when you do intensive, you're always worried about the oxygen.
Oh.
And that's why you've got all these paddle wheels
That's
everywhere.
why I got all these paddle wheels.
Right.
So the worst
oxygenating.
time for oxygen is at night because during the day, the sun and the algae make oxygen, so you don't really have to worry about it during the day. So you only see a few paddle wheels on, but the rest of the time, they're all on at early morning, nighttime. So I'm constantly worried that I'm gonna kill my fish or kill my shrimp.
Right.
So you're right, I don't sleep.
I guess not. And so how many people do you now employ?
Probably a dozen.
Only a dozen? I'm actually shocked. That's a pretty small number.
Yeah.
So you did all of this with about a dozen people total?
No, that's what my staff is now. I've slowed down my construction.
Okay.
So at the most, I had like maybe 25 people working.
All right. Well, that's still pretty decent.
Construction, yeah.
Yeah. And so how much, if you don't mind me asking, and you can say no, but how much money did you sink into this business to get it started?
I'll do it in pesos.
Sure.
Probably about 25, 30 million pesos.
Wow. So a nice big house is about what you put into this.
Yeah.
But you don't got a nice big house out of it.
Big house.
Right. Well, a lot of some of our friends have 40 million. They built their own house. They spent 40 million pesos. So
Right.
it is possible in Iloilo City. So, yeah, that is incredible. So now, what do you? How much are you generating a day? Like, not I mean money. I mean pound or kilos or that kind of thing.
We've been in operation for about a year, so I could tell you the goals and where I think we could be at.
Sure.
The tilapia, we have a monthly goal, probably about 15 ton a month in tilapia. And then on the shrimp side, if we could do 4 to 5 tons a month in shrimp, that's a good number.
Right.
And we're getting there. We're almost to those production numbers. It takes time because you got to train the staff and work out all the bugs.
Yeah, make sure you're oxygenating.
Yeah.
And is your plan to export or just for the local market? How's that working?
No, Filipinos love seafood.
No kidding, no kidding.
Yeah, they love seafood.
And it's a lot cheaper to not ship it.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love shrimp, they love fish. So I have had no trouble marketing to the locals. Yeah.
So what did you do before? Where are you from and what part of the U.S.?
I'm a Southern California
California guy.
guy.
And what did you do there?
My background is software development.
Totally like what you're doing now.
Yeah, like totally like what I'm doing now. But I've been here in the Philippines for about 13 years now.
13 years, okay.
Yeah, I started a call center business in Cebu City about 13 years ago from scratch. And then I was partners with my dad and another Filipina person. And I sold that business to because it was, we had done well.
Yep.
So I said, okay, it was kind of like 2 against 1 because my dad's also like partner.
Right.
And so I said, okay, you guys buy me out.
Right.
So they bought me out about 5 years ago. And then I kind of wanted to decide where I was going to go in the Philippines with my family because I had married a Cebuana.
Okay.
And we picked Iloilo because it's still close to Cebu City for my family.
Yep.
Because they got relatives there. And then it still has all the modern conveniences of a big city with shopping and restaurants and, you know, like almost like a first world
Yeah,
city.
definitely does.
So, and less traffic.
Right? Right?
Yeah, less traffic.
You could be like 30, 35 minutes, maybe not from the dirt road here, but like from the highway road.
Right.
You could be in the city.
Right.
Incredible.
Right.
Wow.
So we started looking around, and we rented a place in Iloilo City for about a year, and then I kind of wanted to do backyard farming. So you can see this greenhouse here. This greenhouse was originally not going to be for my shrimp. It was going to be for like doing hydroponics, backyard vegetable farming. And what happened was, the history here is that I dug a deep well. And the deep well ended up having salty water.
Oh.
So I started researching, what can I do here with all this property with this salty deep well water? And that's when I started talking to people and started researching, and they said you could grow shrimp here. You could grow shrimp inland away from the ocean because of your deep well.
That's incredible. I would never imagine you could get salty deep water this far from the sea.
It's not too salty. It's just salty enough, just salty enough that it makes it possible.
Like a brackish type of water.
Yeah, you could say it's like 2 PPT, they would call it.
Okay.
Well, brackish water, it's almost fresh water, but no.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
you could still survive on drinking it, unlike salt water.
you wouldn't. Yeah, you could. You wouldn't like it though.
No, of course not. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you at least there's something to hydrate you.
Yeah.
Right.
So
fair.
this is actually the first freshwater. You can see that. See, he's carrying that bag.
Yeah.
That's baby crustaceans called zooplankton. We're gonna use that to feed the baby shrimp right here.
So here we go. Look at the tanks here, guys. So he's got the crustaceans.
How many kilos is that, Billy?
2 kilos, 2.5, sir.
2.5 kilos. So that's little micro crustaceans. If you look here in the water, you can see the baby shrimp shells. That's from them molting. That means they're growing. See that?
Yeah.
Those white ones there.
Wow, it doesn't look like much at this point, does it? This looks like sand, to be honest.
Alive. That's alive.
That's alive. Wow. Well. You could live on that.
You live on that. You could. It's very high protein.
I can only imagine that it would be. I don't think it tastes as good as steak, but you know.
54% protein.
Wow. Speaking of decomplicating, so how big do you want to take it? At what point are you like just going to be comfortable, or do you feel like you're 20 years from being comfortable?
Well, let's talk about, this is kind of a unique project because nobody in the Philippines is growing Vaname shrimp, which is the common white shrimp, in fresh water. This is the first in the Philippines.
Oh, wow.
And is it because of your special little well here, and it's not that easy to find?
That helps, and then technical knowledge that I gained and then having the I guess you could call it the balls to make an investment where nobody else has done it before.
Right. You took the big risk.
A lot of people thought I would fail with this project. So what it does for the Philippines is it really opens up a lot of doors, because the coastal lands where most of the shrimp are grown, one, is not sustainable, because when you feed the shrimp, it generates a lot of waste. And then what they do is they do what's called a water exchange. So they'll take clean seawater and exchange it for the wastewater and pump the wastewater out into the ocean. Well, in an inland farm, we don't do that. What we do is we have big reservoirs and we recirculate the water so that the natural bacteria and the natural plants in the soil, it eats all that waste. It's kind of like a waste management project.
It's like a septic tank.
It's like a septic tank, exactly. Yeah. Where these big farms that are on the coastal, they don't do that, because it's
several hundreds of meters offshore.
Right. Well, they're money generated, so it's easier to not set up a system like this where it's recirculating, and just pump the waste out into the ocean.
Right.
So that's one advantage. The other advantage is on the ocean, they have a lot of problem with disease. Because they share water. So all the fish farms are like right next to each other.
Oh, I heard, and now they're moving them all the way to Africa and everything, just because
the shrimp, right? The shrimp
soon as it gets infected, that's it for the whole area.
Right. What happens? We have a problem. It's called white spot here in the Philippines. It's a virus, and what happens is, did you see that what we were feeding? It's called zooplankton.
Mm-hmm.
The zooplankton is kind of crustacean, just like a shrimp, and that virus gets into zooplankton. It's wild, so they can never eradicate it. They can't get rid of it. So they have to bring in the water, and they have to bleach the water to kill everything, and then use that to grow the shrimp in the ocean. Here, we don't have that problem because we're not near no ocean. We're pumping water from the deep well, so there's a huge advantage there. Right. Then the cost of the land for coastal, very expensive.
Yes.
So this opens up a lot of opportunities for anybody that wants to farm shrimp inland.
Right, yeah, because inland you can get as cheap as 50 per square meter.
Right.
50 pesos.
Right.
So it's drastically cheaper.
Drastically cheaper.
And how many hectares you have?
This is 6 hectares.
6 hectares, okay. Yeah, it's a good size lot. Wow.
Yeah.
And you took advantage of a lot of the land here. It's incredible how big you got it already. And
wait,
it
the rice fields are yours as well, right?
No.
No? Oh, no. Okay.
Pretty much where you see the ponds in, that's my property.
Okay.
Yeah, I developed the whole 6 hectares. So what's next? I'm not sure. Maybe I'll start doing some consulting for people. Maybe I'll try doing some other projects in inland projects somewhere else. There's an opportunity where maybe we provide the baby shrimp. We call them larvae. Right. Already acclimated to the fresh water, so the farmer could just take it and just put it in, dump it in.
Like startup kits.
Like startup kits.
Right. So your vision is not actually to take over the world here. Your vision is to help the world.
Pretty much.
That's good.
Now we're doing some interesting things too. The zooplankton. So one of the biggest problems in the world is protein.
Right.
And most of the protein comes from swine, chickens, and cattle.
Yeah.
Well, they eat a lot of grass and they produce a lot of waste. Very not environmental friendly. So everybody's looking for a way to produce cheaper, more environmental friendly
protein sources. Yeah.
That for the aquaculture, we were talking about the fish meal.
Yeah.
So that's it's a dying resource because they're taking all the wild fish out of the ocean. So it's hurting the environment too. So we have, in the freshwater here, we have what's called zooplankton, which we were feeding. Basically what they eat is they eat this green water. Okay? And this green water is a result of feeding the shrimp and the tilapia. What happens is it produces nutrients in the water, and that produces microalgae, And then the microalgae is what feeds the zooplankton, which is the tiny crustaceans.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
That's with the high protein. So before, nobody's really thinking about using zooplankton, freshwater
As a protein.
zooplankton as a protein source for shrimp. They're using this fish meal because
Yeah.
it's easier. But this stuff,
This is sustainable though.
it's sustainable.
Yeah.
So my next project is we're gonna build zooplankton ponds. So all we're gonna do is produce zooplankton
Right, right.
to feed the shrimp and the tilapia and try to get the feed costs less
Even
commercial
lower,
feeds,
yeah, yeah.
almost to the point when we don't even need it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that opens up a
Wow.
lot of opportunity to make cheaper food for
Right.
the backyard farmers to actually get rid of all the expensive commercial
Yeah,
feeds.
especially if that's one of your biggest costs. Like
Right.
you said, the feeds
Right.
and the compounds.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay.
Well, this is great. And so are you living in here right now?
Yes.
Okay.
I used to live in the city, in Iloilo City, before
Oh, yeah.
I started the project.
Right,
Yeah, you
right,
see, you
right,
rented
right.
there for a year, right?
I rented for the year,
So
and,
that's
and
right,
I
right.
was in a high-end subdivision there, and I moved the family here because there's so much management. So I
Right,
think
you
that's the
couldn't
biggest.
even-
I think that's the biggest challenge,
Mm.
is the management. First, you know, there's a communication problem because I don't really speak Ilongo,
Of course.
and my wife doesn't even speak Ilongo.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
she's
it's
so
women.
She's a Savannah. So that's been one of the hardest things, and then the cultural differences between an American and then the Filipinos or the Ilongos.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
of course.
that's difficult. So the
Naturally.
only way I can make it work is I have to live here.
Yeah.
I have to
yeah,
live
you
here.
kind of have to.
You got to be here, be there all the time, make
absorbed
sure
in.
it's going.
Open.
But I think long term, you'll be able to have a staff that you'll
Well-
better understand each other very well, and they'll understand what you're looking
I think
for.
that's
and-
going to determine if I'm going to be successful or not.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
going to be about my people.
Yes,
Right.
of course.
So
And like any company,
yeah.
it's just a little. You have a language barrier and a cultural difference here
right
to fight through.
to fight through.
How did
Fantastic.
you? Okay, so you're a software engineer.
Well, I moved here to the Philippines like 13 years ago.
Right.
I started a call center. I was in the call center business,
Right.
and then I sold it. Just
Okay,
to
okay.
kind of like I was going to retire like at a young age type
Yeah,
of
like
dream.
sell it
But
and live free.
of course, I married a young Filipina, and
Mm.
we have kids, so in case I can't travel, so I had to keep myself entertained.
Yeah.
Of
You
course.
can't do nothing.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
I can't do nothing. So I had a little savings because I sold my call center
Yeah,
business,
yeah.
and so this is what I decided to do. This is what I ended up doing.
I know you were interested in aquaponics. So what made you
Well, really,
like really?
when I was younger, as
connected
a teenager, college,
Uh,
we have in the Americas, you know, it's a first world country, so we have lots of hobbies.
yeah,
And,
you can do anything really.
I had started a hobby doing reef aquariums. That's kind of like a full-blown aquarium with like corals,
Wow, yeah.
salt water.
Yeah.
So I kind of had some background in the chemistry and
Right.
in the knowledge of like growing seawater creatures.
Right, right. You were already.
So
in that.
when I started doing the research, because we dug this deep well with the 2 PTT water, the salt water,
Right.
and I started looking what I could do, the shrimp really interested me because I had that hobby of growing in a having
The
a
seawater
saltwater
or-
aquarium.
yeah, yeah.
And it all made sense to me. Like, all this,
It just connected.
it connected. So,
Oh, okay.
so I always been a risk taker. I've been doing my own business. I had gas stations and car washes in the U.S.
All right. So you do.
I've been an
understand, like-
entrepreneur my whole life.
So we're just standing there, okay? We're not feeding them yet or anything, and you can see they're just jumping all over the place. This is the tilapia. Oh, there you go. You see them down there. Oh yeah, they're everywhere. And so this pond right now, these are the ones ready for harvest, correct?
Yeah, there's probably like 7 tons of tilapia right now
7 ton. Wow.
that are ready for harvest.
And you don't have to deliver anything. They come to you to pick up?
Sometimes I'll deliver.
$23-gram shrimp over here. Wow, look at those beasts. They are huge.
Wait, are shrimp clear?
They'll get a little darker as they get older.
But you can like basically.
They're translucent like that. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So
That's
these
so
are
cool.
this is called a feeding tray.
Oh, okay.
We use this to gauge how hungry they are.
Right.
Because
right.
if they're not hungry, you don't want to feed them because
Right.
it's just going to pollute the pond. If they're hungry, of course you want them to grow, so you feed them more.
Right.
So we check these feed trays every time we're getting ready to feed, so we know how much either to give them more or give them
Or
less.
less.
Okay. And they all pile up in that area because they're expecting feed if they're hungry.
That's only a sample.
Okay.
So they'll broadcast the rest of the feed in the pond. So maybe that's only like 2% of the feed.
Right.
And the rest of the feed is broadcast everywhere.
Right.
So it's just like an estimate gauge.
Right. Just,
Okay.
wow.
And so what you just saw there says.
Well, they just got fed.
Ah, okay.
Still, you saw they're still feeding.
They're just hanging out to
tray.
get the last bit. Okay.
Yeah, they probably got fed maybe just a few minutes, like maybe 30 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
So that is a 23-gram shrimp. Now I'm gonna wait till these go to 30.
Before you.
Yeah, so they'll get bigger.
How much is it a kilogram?
You mean the price?
Yeah.
The farm gate price right now, I'm charging 300 pesos a kilo.
Right.
And retail, you're probably paying like 400.
Yeah. Huh.
This is the recirculating system. Where right now they're draining this pond.
Right. So it's.
But the
going-
water from here, there's a big concrete pipe that goes underneath on that gate. It'll come out over this gate here and then flow into
I
this.
see.
This is called a reservoir. Now, the idea is when you feed and you start producing nutrients in the water, all the microalgae and all the uneaten feeds and their swim rates will start to be suspended in the water. You want to get that out.
Ah.
So that is being pushed here.
Right.
In this pond is a bunch of tilapia.
Oh,
They only have one job.
Eat.
They eat the waste.
nice.
So that way I don't have to pump it out.
Alright.
And it turns it into fish.
Right. Yeah.
So it keeps me from having to spend a bunch of guys to
Exactly.
clean it. And
Take
so
it
they
out.
do that job. Now they don't taste very good because
Yeah.
Of what
they're eating the
eating.
mud and the junk. So they
They're
got
they're your catfish.
pretty much. So I get the fish here. I give to my guys
Right.
to
Just
eat.
have, yeah.
Yeah,
So they don't go to waste. Nice.
they don't go to waste.
All right. So those are real big, small. What size do you think?
Oh, those might be 1 gram.
1 gram. Okay.
Yeah.
Look at them jump around. Wow.
And this is Aveen,
Hello, guys.
the beautiful wife. Now, and she's been doing a vlog. So if you want to see what their daily life is here as fish farmers, and the whole family situation, the whole thing. Hello. What is your channel name?
Aveen and Mark.
Aveen
and
and Mark. We'll make sure we include that link there so that everybody can find it, and we'll tag you on it. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Fantastic. Say hi. You gonna say hi?
Thank you for visiting us.
Hello. Yeah. Oh, this has been fantastic. Thank you all so much. What an amazing accomplishment you've gotten here. And the speed of it is just incredible.
I didn't know anything, okay? So we started from 0.
At 29 and I find myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again.